Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be going ahead and trying out our hand at actually navigating these complicated airports. We just got our handy dandy pushback here, we're in a great position, and everything is looking pretty darn solid. For those of you who saw the video from before, you probably know exactly where we are. We're here at lovely Chicago. We're going to be having one heck of a crazy experience trying to taxi. Now, we got to set up a couple of different things in here in order to make our life a little bit simpler. So first things first, I'm going to tell the guy to go away. Leave us alone. We've got work to do. So the first things first, if you're working with one of the modern avionics systems, you can actually zoom in significantly so you can make your life 1,000% simpler as far as actually identifying what particular taxiway you're on. In this particular setup, I can actually click and drag to see exactly where I need to be. So in this case, I'm actually going to zoom in just a little bit. I got my little plus and minus keys. I'll center on my aircraft, and you can see we're parked up there, just like we were previously when we were kind of planning all this good stuff out. So what I'm going to do real quickly is I'm going to go and flip on my little diagram here so we can kind of study exactly what we're up to. And you can see that we are sitting way up here at the northeast cargo ramp, which is basically going to be located here. So we're going to be traveling all the way down to runway 10 right. So we're going to go via November. We're going to go ahead and proceed down Mike. We're going to take a right on Delta, a left on Zulu, all the way down Zulu, and then line up with 10 right here. Now keep in mind, inside the flight simulator, our actual instructions that we were given, which blows my mind just a teeny tiny bit, is insanity. Look at how many teeny tiny little left and right, Victor, no. This is insanity. But it is also what we get whenever we use the actual flight simulators, particular information. Now, if we want to actually follow this, watch. So November, we go to November again. We go all the way down to Mike. We would cross runway 27. Notice they give permission to cross. We'd proceed here to Golf. Now, poking around here, you're going, whoa, what happened to Golf here? Golf is right here. So then when we go on to Golf, they take us all the way down here to Golf 3. We take a right on Golf 3, cross Golf 2, teeny tiny bit, go back to Golf 3, all the way down to runway, taxiway Bravo. We take Bravo all the way down here until we have Victor. We proceed along Victor, and you can see what happens to everything here, until we got ourselves to Victor 4, which is located right here. Once we got to Victor 4, we'd proceed via November. Now, if you take a look at the map, November is going to be this one right here. We take that right onto November right here. We take November to Yankee, which is over here. We would go ahead and line ourselves right up on the end of the runway there. You can see how incredibly intimidating that is, which is why people love the progressive taxi feature. We're not going to do that because we had our own plan from the other day, and we're going to stick to it. All right, let's do it. Go ahead and release my parking brake. Pick my head up nice and high, and let's get rolling. Keep in mind, when you are taxiing around, you're not supposed to be doing more than 30 knots ever, especially when other aircraft are around you. So kind of keep it in the back of your head. Also, when you're taxiing, it's a good idea to go ahead and flip on your taxi light. You do not want to flick on, why did they not do that when it did automatically? You don't want to flip on your strobe light. In the real world, it is a tremendously bright light. So you want to be very cautious with this. Okay, so as we're cruising around, we'll be making some general comments as far as things we're looking out for. At this time, there are no taxiway markers that are indicating any which way that we need to be watching out. I don't see any road markers telling us we're not supposed to be going a certain direction. None of that is existing, so the assumption is we're basically following whatever instructions we were given moments earlier. Start holding down the brake. This is a Beech 200. It likes to go. All right, let's go ahead and head up to our first little zone here. I'm going to kind of stop short so I can show you all the symbols on the ground so we can start figuring out exactly what we're looking at here. Okay, so first things first, we're taking a look real quickly. You can see the good old-fashioned runway right there on the right. That's 22 right. And you can see that this particular runway, just like we saw up in our little diagram here, is November 1. So we're going to go ahead and release the brake, get a little tiny bit of gas, and we'll proceed right along November 1 here. November 1, I stand corrected. All right, go ahead and take a look at the left side. Nice and easy. The reason I chose this aircraft and not a huge airliner is because airliners are just kind of tricky. There's something up at the front wheel on them that just does not feel natural to me. Now, one thing I don't quite get is why does our G3000 here have such a high quality display? It seems to blow my mind just a teeny tiny bit. But anyway, we're just going to kind of proceed along here. Taking a look, we're going to be hitting a November, that's just regular November. And I'm going to go ahead and hold the brake. Again, this aircraft likes to just get away on you, so you want to be very cautious. I'm going to have a better look at that sign that's right on my left, just so I can show you exactly what you're looking for as you're trying to figure this out. All right, that looks pretty good. Go ahead, hit the brakes. And you can see looking out my window real quickly. Why does it say it's a fire warning if I put my brakes on? You can see to the left here would be Mike, and you can see to my right here is Mike. So we basically have Mike is going from this side all the way through that side on that one. All right, go ahead and release my brakes. Go ahead and get this thing rolling one more time. All right, for those of you who are keeping track, I'm now crossing Mike. This is leaving November, and taking a left onto Mike. Again, when you have that diagram on your lap, this is a much, much, much simpler experience. Again, be careful with the speed on this thing. It just likes to go. All right, go ahead and take myself. Now things are going to get interesting. So we need to know when we're about to go ahead and cross the runway. Take a look straight ahead. I can see I have a sign for we're on Mike, and Delta is crossing to my left and right. Delta, by the way, that's going to be this one right here, for those of you who are looking at my little diagram. Again, this aircraft just wants to go. I'm actually going to pull my RPM back a teeny tiny bit to try to make it a little bit smoother for me. Don't want to waste those brakes. These are expensive carbon brakes. Okay, our next stop should be runway 27 center. And if I look out the window real quickly, I'll go ahead and hold the brakes just a little bit here. This will be crossing, take a look real quick. I'm gonna hold the brakes. This is Echo that we're crossing right here. So we have already crossed over that particular runway. Now the interesting thing is I look behind me and I don't see the runway. So we're panicking going, oh, how did we mess up? How did we mess up? Let's go ahead and center it just to confirm that I have not made that mistake. No, I have not made that mistake. We're actually not there yet. Okay, that's fine. Freaked me out for just a second there. But again, be careful because the taxiway diagrams you may have access to may be old, and likewise, the model that we have built into Flight Simulator may be young. All right, so we've just crossed Echo, which is ironic because Echo's over here, not over here. Again, just kind of keep those things in mind. You're going to kind of have to roll with the punches. All right, we're still on Mike. Again, you just saw that sign just a few minutes ago that told us exactly where we are. Okay, normally, let's take a look at this. You're going to have a big angry sign on here, which is going to tell you what runway you're crossing. This is 27 left. So we've actually already crossed that previous runway, which is all right. Tap the brake for a second. Again, they gave us permission to cross. So we're going to go ahead and cross it right away. Just want to double check to make sure you're not going to mow anybody down as you go by here. Now things are going to start getting very interesting. Our next place we're going to be looking at is going to be golf. Now we have to be really careful here because if we take the wrong turn, we're going to end up downtown as opposed to where we want to be, where we're actually going to be taking off from. I'm going to go ahead and hold down the brake real quickly. We're going to take a quick little look over in this direction. We'll take a quick little look. And again, my engine's not on fire. Huh. So coming back up to our handy-dandy diagram here, we've just crossed. Now, if we want to take golf right here, if we were to take a right-hand turn onto golf, that's going to take us all the way down to Romeo, and then we can kind of sneak back up this way. Again, our original goal was 10 center, but we'll take the scenic route, as they say. We can also take a left turn and go via Alpha, which will get us a really, really nice view of the runway. I think that actually might be a better idea here. Go ahead and give it some power. Let's go ahead and see what we got. So we're going to go ahead and take a left turn. Now, we do have taxiway lines this time, so it's going to make lives a little bit simpler. All right, go ahead and spin around this one. Imagine doing this at night in the rain. You can see up on my right, we have Golf right there. That's Golf 2, and we also have Golf 3 over on the other side. Look how nasty that sign got. That's got everything on it. So again, for those of you following along, we're on Golf right now. Golf 2 is this first right turn that you're going to see right here. I'm sorry, Golf 3 is the first right turn here. That's going to put us on Bravo if we choose to take it, which is exactly what I want to do. Go ahead and hold the brakes down real quickly. We don't want to get this thing going too fast. All right. Interesting. I don't know why that would affect anything, but okay. Bad time, naturally. Okay, now we have to be really cautious here. Really, really cautious. This is Golf 2 that we're presently on. That's the one I have highlighted on the chart right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to proceed all the way down. We're not going to take that initial turn. Because if we proceed on the initial turn, that's going to put us on Alpha. I actually would prefer to be on Bravo. Again, follow whatever instructions they give you, but you can see that it's actually relatively straightforward. Now, here's where your mind's going to get hurt a little bit. You need to take a right turn. Nice and easy. Try to keep yourself right on the center of that taxiway, and I expect my frame rate to take a little bit of a tank. Yes, so this is what happens when you have an i9 10850K or 32 RAM, and of course a 3080. You still see the shop, regardless of what settings you gave it to. Okay, we are now currently on Taxiway Bravo. Go ahead and highlight that for you so you can see it pretty clearly. All right, I'm going to watch my speed. I'm getting a little bit too much. And we're coming up to our first interesting symbol. I'm going to go ahead and hold the brakes real quickly, and I'm going to go and just hold it manually. Take a look at the ground. If you remember from our little previous video, this line right here means I'm allowed to cross this way. This line means I need permission to cross it. So in this case, we have right of way here. We're just going to go ahead and release the brakes. Give it just a teeny tiny little bit of power, and we're going to proceed on Bravo. And just like that, we are now on our way one more time. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take Bravo down for a little ways, because we want to get ourselves nice and well set up. Oh, it sounds like we got in the way of another car. It says zipping by across the front of us. Looks pretty good. All right, we're going to take Bravo down just a teeny tiny way. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit so you can see a little better. All right, looking pretty good. You can see we're crossing another set of runways here. I should say taxiways. This is Alpha, what do we got here? I'm just looking. This is Alpha 20. So Alpha 20 is this one right here. And again, as long as you have that little diagram right in front of you, you're not going to get as lost as you think you will. We're going to continue along Bravo real quickly. Again, we're on Bravo. Alpha 19 is crossing us. This is Alpha 19 right here. And I expect this taxiway to start taking a right turn at any moment. Now, if you had the actual taxiway diagram like on your ankle or something, like ankle would be useless. On your knee, this would be much simpler because you could just kind of look down gently and check it real fast. But again, this is one of the most wonderful features of this aircraft is the fact you literally have a diagram built into the actual aircraft. The only thing we need to worry about is not getting horribly lost here. Coming up on my next sign, I can see I'm still on Bravo at this time. I'm going to go ahead and start my gentle right turn. Again, we're going to stay on Bravo. There we go. Swinging ourselves around nice and easy here. And now you get a nice scenic tour of the entire airport. You actually have to be very careful here because whenever you cross this particular location, you're always going to be bumping into a situation where you're going to have other airliners crossing you. I don't know why it's doing that today, but sometimes it happens. Probably because it's the weekend and everybody's trying to sign in. Again, keep your speed under 30. You don't want to be ripping along too fast here. Getting a nice little tour of the airport today. Man, does this aircraft just want to go. I love aircraft like that. All right, now proceeding due west. One of the great things about those taxiway diagrams is they are arranged correctly geographically. You know, a north runway actually faces up inside of the actual diagram itself. All right, we're going to go ahead and do a transfer in just a minute here. And hold brakes. You can see I've got right on my left here. Looking at, that's a November 12. November 2 rather, not November 12. It's going to be right there. I'm going to go swing over here so I can get myself over onto November. So remember, this is going to be one of your spurs. Whoop-doo. Bring myself over here real quick. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of traffic, but that's okay. All right, we're then going to go ahead and take a right-hand turn onto November itself. Again, we're just navigating on our own. If we wanted to follow the instructions of air traffic control, we actually wouldn't be too far off from where they actually asked us to go. Okay, we are now on taxiway November. So I'm on right there. Again, it's nice to have that little GPS display. It's even better to have a little diagram display so I know exactly where I need to go at any given time. All right, we just start ripping along, kind of wave to the little truckers who go by. See ya. Looks like they're having a little bit of traffic of their own. Who knew, right? All right, proceeding along November. Starting to pick up a little bit of speed here. We are crossing, just want a little look at that, okay. One of the things I really appreciate is they put a line on the taxiway diagrams underneath the letter N to remind you that it's letter November that we're dealing with as opposed to, you know, the letter Z. Because a lot of these big airports actually will have multiple different sets here. Okay, so we're going to proceed along this side and we're going to cross over when we get all the way to the end of the runway. Like I said, we're trying to get ourselves over the 10 center. We're letting this aircraft build up a little bit of speed here because, you know, this is a relatively long section. In the real world, they would cream you if you're doing Cessna takeoff speeds on the taxiway. But again, we're just demonstrating here. We're not trying to do anything too sophisticated. It's not unusual, by the way, to burn, you know, many dollars worth of fuel just getting yourself positioned, depending on the airport you're at. Folks in the flight simulator, of course, they're not affected by that. But if you're on a time constraint, obviously you want to be very, very cautious about that. Keep your speed under 30. Whenever you're doing turns, keep your speeds under 15. All right, we're proceeding direct here. We're going to be coming up on Zulu. Now, if you remember, my original plan had us taking Zulu around the back side of the airport. I decided, even though without air traffic control's permission, to go ahead and tweak things a little bit for myself. So I went ahead and kind of got creative there. All right, we are now turning on to Zulu, and we're going to get the big old angry sign right here that's going to say 10 left. Now remember, you need permission to cross a runway. You can't just go unless they said clear to cross such and such a runway by air traffic control. All right, we're now crossing 10 left, and we're going to be proceeding via Zulu again. Again, let this thing accelerate just a teeny tiny bit. Once this thing gets going, it's just like, gotta go. All right, we're crossing 10 left, and then we're going to go back onto Zulu. On our left-hand side, we expect to see Papa. Now, if you take a look at my sign, there it is, just like I promised. Again, once you have the diagram in front of you, it's really not too bad. We're expecting to go ahead and cross our next runway, which will be 10 center in just a moment. And then we're going to expect, of course, to be seeing Quebec on my left-hand side. Of course, when we see Quebec, we'll also be seeing Zulu 1. All right, crossing our next runway. Again, you need permission to cross these. You can't do it. Normally, when you're under air traffic control, you just ask them, and they're usually very good about it. This will be Quebec right on my left. Of course, right after Quebec, we're going to be seeing Zulu 1. Crossing Zulu 1 now. Again, my throttle's at 0, and this thing just wants to go. All right, now we just stay on Zulu until you see the big old-fashioned number 10 right. Now, in the real world, I don't think I've ever seen anybody have to taxi quite this extreme of a scenario. But again, depending on kind of what happens and how things get laid out, it's not unusual for this kind of thing to actually occur, especially when you're dealing with the air traffic control built into Flight Simulator directly. All right, bringing ourselves again, we're along Zulu here. We're going to be taking a very aggressive right turn in just a moment. Oh, I was too slow on that. Sorry about that. Sorry brakes, sorry wheels, sorry brakes, sorry wheels. Okay, and now we made it all the way to 10 right. Perfect. Yeah, I know I'm not on fire though. So you can see we went all the way from November to November. We went down Mike, we crossed an imaginary runway, we passed Echo, we went to Mike, we went to Golf 2, we went along Bravo, we went all the way around the airport along Bravo. We transferred over here over to November to make our lives easy. We took a left on Zulu, crossed a bunch of runways, and came all the way back down here to 10 right. So now what's the point about taking all that effort if we don't go ahead and take the airplane off? And of course we'll do that in just a moment as well. Now, there's a couple things that I want to throw out that people have to watch out for. Now, if you are at an untowered airport that has a crazy set of traffic pattern, a crazy set of different types of runways and taxiways, there is a trick that I always recommend people doing. And once we get this aircraft kind of on its way, we'll go ahead and show what that looks like. And that's the fact that you don't need to use only a little bit of runway when you actually land the aircraft. As a matter of fact, I don't recommend flying like that. I recommend when you go to land the aircraft to use as much of the runway as you possibly can when you're actually landing. Now you're probably sitting there going, wait, what? Well, now if you have a runway, we'll go ahead and, like I said, we'll get airborne and I'll kind of show this a little bit off here. When you have a lot of runway in front of you and you go ahead and turn off, if you have a situation where there's only a single taxiway that acts as a runway, you could run into a situation where you're basically face to face with another airplane that's coming down the taxiway. That is not a very desirable situation in most cases. I'm going to flip on my automatic pilot real quick. And we got a little terrain warning, but there's nothing too new there. Make sure landing gear came up this time. All right, looking pretty good. All right, flipping the yaw damper to make it happy. Okay, you happy now? You happy? All right, we're all set. Cool. So let me show you what I mean. Make this a little bit bigger. Scroll up to the tippy top. Let's say we were landing at this airport here, and all it had was this runway up at the tippy top. So now if we land on this runway and immediately take Mike and start going down Mike, if somebody's coming up Mike, we're going to run into each other. So the safer thing to do here is, since we know that the runway and the traffic is going in this direction, would be to land on the runway, go all the way to the end, pull off, and then take Zulu. I know there's a temptation in a lot of small airports like this to pull off that kind of maneuver. If we were to come down here as well, we have the exact same kind of situation. Let's say we're landing into this direction. We land our aircraft. If we took a left on Whiskey 2, we could end up running right into people using Zulu in order to get into position. Of course, if people are taking Whiskey to get into position, we also have a problem. So again, if we land on that runway, go all the way to the end, then pull off, we're a lot less likely to bump into those people. Now, of course, at Chicago, we could just take Yankee and get out of there in a pretty big hurry and not have to worry about any of this as well. So again, these are all the things that you want to kind of keep an eye out for and be thinking about when you're landing. Hopefully this video is somewhat helpful. Again, it just takes a lot of practice to kind of get the hang of these kind of things. But other than that, enjoy.